the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's time for the VooDoo Chef podcast, where we will discuss all things VooDoo from the VooDoo Studios located right here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. So to all my booties out there, if you're looking for nothing but a good time, this is the place to be. Call your friends, knock on the neighbor's door, and let them know it's time to party like a rock star for the next hour. Join me and my guests and learn to VooDoo like we do as we discuss our faves and the VooDoo that we use. I'll put our guests on the spot as we ask for their top 3, and make sure and listen as we discuss some of our favorite war stories from the kitchens we've worked in. Sit back, grab a tall glass of your favorite libation, and enjoy this episode of the VooDoo Chef podcast. What is going on, Voodies, and most importantly, Big Eddie C? What is up, my friend?
Not much, man. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm stuffy tonight. I don't know whether it's like because the weather's starting to change or because I've been smelling a lot of bullshit all day. I don't know.
It is that time of year in the school district, is it not?
It really is, man. It's a little different in your world than mine. A lot of graduation panic going on. Just a lot of people want a lot of things. Not all of them are feasible. And, I try to do my best. I try to think, hey, what would it be like if my kid was driving me nuts, might fail some shit, might fuck everything up for graduation, I invited Aunt Gloria from Peoria. She was going to give me a gift card, so it requires me to do something I don't do very well, which is be considerate of others. So it's a rough time of year, man.
It's a great time of year. Favorite time of year as a K-12 teacher, I used to tell all the kids all the time, don't bring me no fucking candle, man. Nobody wants a fucking candle. Don't bring me a candle. Don't bring me no smell good shit. Buy me a $5 gift card to Guitar Center. There's 150 of you. Yeah. If you all bought me a $5 gift card, man, I could get me a new Les Paul or some shit.
You could get some cool shit with that.
Who wants a candle? Come on.
I don't even use the ones I have.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude. It's a great day, and, thanks to all the booties checking in. If you're checking in, make sure you let us know where you're checking in from. Most importantly, what you're drinking. Tonight's a special night, We've got an amazing guest on the show. We're going to bring him in a little bit. We're going to keep it under wraps till then. But he's a CBA. Those aren't the letters behind his name, but he is definitely a CBA.
It's not the one we talk about in football, the collective bargaining agreement.
No. Certified badass, and I cannot wait. I had the good for. Well, we'll get there in a minute. Big Eddie C, you got your Buck shirt on, man. Isn't tomorrow the first day of the draft?
Thursday. So Thursday night.
Rockstar. I thought it was tomorrow because our good pal Bubba from Wicked Oak Barbecue, he was supposed to be with us tomorrow night judging VooDoo Underground finals tomorrow night. Finals are tomorrow night. I can't wait. And all my booties out there, guess what? You log on to VooDoo Chef 13 Facebook page. You log on to the, I don't know, however you get to YouTube and check us out. VooDoo Chef, some shit. I don't know. We're going to be streaming the entire final cook-off, pending cooperation from the school district network, streaming it live so everybody can watch these amazing students just create some really cool food. So make sure you're checking in on that. We got Dabsy checking in. She can't wait for the finals. And, of course, John D from John D Sweet Creations. Man, if you have not had her chocolate-covered strawberries, it's time to get on it. So tomorrow's going to be a great day. And, again, make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're throwing those hearts, those likes, those shares, whatever the hell it is. You can even slash us and add us. That's cool, too, because you hate us because you hate us, and that's all right. Big Eddie C. So back to Bubba. Bubba was supposed to be a judge at VooDoo Underground tomorrow. Well, wait. Bubba was supposed to be eye candy for Stephanie Swans, the owner of Muchachas and Empamamas, best birria tacos in town. She was supposed to be a judge tomorrow. Bubba is getting to sit on the stage for the Bucks draft pick. So they're flying out tomorrow.
What?
That's what it was tomorrow. I know, right? I mean, you cook some fucking burnt ends and you make a big ass rib sandwich and you go viral on TikTok. Next thing you know, you're sitting on the stage.
Wow.
We might have cracked the code right there. We might have cracked the code.
Bravo for Bubba, man. If you're going to miss underground, it better be for something cool like that, not some drippy shit. You know.
Damn straight, man. I mean, he could have told us that he was going to to see some musical or Little Mermaid on Ice. We would have had to give it to him. That's why Derek can't be there tomorrow. He's going to see Little Mermaid on Ice. Damn Kansas City fans.
Oh.
Not even a comment, right?
Man. Jesus.
Hey, as we come down to the end of the year, one of the best things ever is we get to see the vows and the sows and all that good stuff. And, my favorite thing is going to graduation. You and I are now back on the same team. Back in the day when we were at Chamberlain, we got to hang out, and you and I would hit graduation. We actually had our first education meeting that we've had in a long time. We're getting to help some amazing kids. We've got a 16-year-old right now that really wasn't being successful in high school. And we snatched him up. We brought him into the world of post-secondary at 16. He's enrolled in the culinary program, and he's enrolled in his high school education courses with you. So we're getting to tag team this gentleman and really, really help him out. And he's already kicking ass, taking names. And the beauty, even bigger than all of that, is we're paying for his education.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's just such a great thing, man. Such a great thing. I'm really stoked and so happy we're back doing that.
Yeah, very excited, man. He's our inaugural one, man. It reminds me, I got to turn in some paperwork to the peeps tomorrow.
Turn in paper? I don't know. Oh, yeah, we do. We got to turn in grades.
I should have done it last night, but I got slammed. I had everybody else's grades from all the sub-sites, and today was the first official day that seniors who were about to fail something could take it with me so that they could walk on time and be considered done. So I had a bunch of accounts that since they got to start today, I wanted them done last night. So that way when kids started rolling in today, they were ready. Nobody had to wait on me.
Yeah, and that goes back to parents whining, because if you don't get that in time, then you really got to hear a rash of shit. And as much as we want to help everybody, parents, just simmer down now, right? Simmer down.
Yeah.
We're doing our best. We're doing our best. And if you would have done your best on the front end, we wouldn't be here on the back end. Just saying. Just saying. Speaking of the best, Big Eddie C, Randy Orton's been in the WWE for 20 years now.
Wow.
Not that I watch wrestling, but they had a big celebration for Randy Orton last night. And I don't know how much of a wrestling mark you are, but if you had
not anymore, man, it kind of fell off my plate.
Well, if you had, and everybody out there checking us out, I forgot I switched the scroll. We got to announce it. VooDoo's Unite tomorrow is going to be preempted. No VooDoo's Unite tomorrow. We'll run a video. You can watch the video. It'll be earlier in the day, maybe 4:00, maybe, I don't know. But remember, we're going live tomorrow with VooDoo Underground. So we got that little ticker going there about VooDoo's Unite at 6 p.m. I ain't going to be cooking tomorrow. High school kiddies are. So get ready. And Guess what? Big Eddie C, we're giving the winning team, $2,000.
Nice.
$2,000.
Nice.
Ain't no play. $2,000. What a win.
That should bring up the hitters, man.
Yeah, here, asterisk. It's got to go towards your culinary education. That's what the foundation does. Yeah. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so Big Eddie C, Randy Orton, amazing third-generation wrestler. First person that came out to congratulate him, Cody Rhodes, second generation wrestler, probably 14-year-old selves, number one wrestler, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Big Eddie C?
Oh, I loved Dusty when I was a kid, man. When I was young, it's funny. You can tell now I was young because the guys I always used to love were like the Dusty Rhodes, man, the face guys.
Right.
Once I hit maybe like my late teens and the 20s, I just loved the fucking heels, man. Nothing made me laugh more than Ric Flair and fucking Macho Man and probably the all-time greatest guy that would cut the fucking promo and talk shit, Ravishing Rick Rude. Man.
Oh my God!
The guy was peerless, and I realized I like the fucking heels, man.
Ravishing Rick Rude was married to or dating one of my brother's friends, man. And all I wanted to do was meet the ravishing one. I mean, come on, man. But you named the biggest heel of them all, Dusty Rhodes' arch nemesis, Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah.
Ric Flair, in my mind, is the epitome of professional wrestling.
He was it, man. I mean, I guess people that go way, way back said he was kind of like a knockoff of Gorgeous George, but I've seen the YouTube videos. No, believe me, he didn't come up with the shit that Ric Flair did, the trash talk and the I got more cars and you got friends. It was the best, man. I spilled more liquor than you've ever drank, just the cuts and insults. I mean, he was almost up there with Rick Rude, but I
put
watch him on TV, and he'd get into the ring and say, "I want all you fat fucking whatever it is in whatever town to shut up while I take off my road and show the ladies what a real man looks like." And it looked like somebody T-boned a damn garbage truck in that ring. He couldn't even start. They had to get in there and sweep it out.
Yeah, but dude, ravishing Rick Rude, I get it. He, and he'd flip that robe down and he'd fucking dance, gyrate, I should say.
Yeah.
But you really can't go anywhere and say Ric Flair without somebody going, woo!
Yeah.
Right, man. Right. Because he was the best. He was the master. He made all of the wrestlers in the territories, he made their top guys look amazing. Yeah. And whether they were good guy faces or bad guys, he played the other role and he made them look amazing. He was the pinnacle, in my mind, of professional wrestling.
Oh, no doubt.
And you know what? We've got the pinnacle of culinary on our podcast today. The pinnacle. We have a certified master chef fucking in the green room. And if I was him, I'd be like, yo, motherfuckers, shut your traps. Do you know I'm a certified master chef? Bring my ass in.
That's right.
Bring me in. And that's exactly what we're going to do, because I got to tell you, I went to a lecture, I don't know, some continuing education stuff, where I got to hear some amazing people talk and eat some food. And lo and behold, I'm watching Gerald L. Ford talk. And he's talking about, cuts of meat that, aren't normally used, whatever. And he's just so chill, so laid back, such a smooth delivery. And, as educators, that's what we watch now, right? It's less content, and it's more about delivery and understanding, But I'm sitting there watching this cat. And then I'm like, God, this guy's awesome. Carlos taps me because I'm with Carlos, I fucking know the guy, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And, Carlos, I love you, brother. He's like, dude, I fucking know this guy, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever. I love you, man. I know you know. But guys, let's bring him in, man. I got to tell you, Chef Ford, Welcome to the show, my man. You are a rock star. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you. I have to start with woo. That's just where I got to start.
We need to do that for you, man. It needs to be said.
No, really, man.
Woo, damn straight. So, can you do the figure four?
No, I don't have that. Sorry.
Oh shoot!
Oh man, we got
You put me on the spot.
No, I'll put you on the spot. No, that's later. That's later. Hey, so we met at the lecture series for ACF. I talk about whatever I was. I know where I was, and I knew I was going, and I knew Carlos knew you, and he called me up and said, "Dude, we got to go," and he just speaks the world of you, and he's exactly right. Everything he says, you're a rock star. You're currently the youngest master chef in the world. So let's hit this. How many masters are there in the world?
Well, it's tough to talk about it that way, but we can talk about American Master Chef, right? The certified Master Chef, as we have it here in the United States, there's 73 of us.
Wow.
And I'm currently the youngest one.
73. And am I allowed to ask, how old are you?
Yeah, of course you are. I just have to think about the answer. 42. 42.
Oh, you fucking young blood motherfucker, man. I
got after it, early. I had a lot of people, try to rub me the wrong way and tell me I could never do it. And I'm a pretty defiant young man. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm obviously going to have to prove you wrong. Cool.
Hey,
my dad, I remember, I'll never forget. My dad, when I was 19, told me no son of his was ever going to grow up to be a dumb cook. And I was able to look back at him and say, okay, cool. Then I'm going to be the smartest motherfucking cook you've ever met. So,
dude, I love it. So normally we would start, where your beginnings were and take it up. But when you talk about certified master chef, and I've had the honor to meet a few of you. I was telling you, I had the honor of meeting Fritz Sonnenschmidt and Noble Massey, Master Baker. And when I first met these dudes, it was like, oh shit, there's only so many of you in the world. And I was nervous. And then Fritz comes in and he's got his shorts on and his ball cap. And then he puts his apron on and it's like right under his tits. And he's just like the coolest dude in the world, man. And he's just so humble, and he's teaching us how to make bologna. And I'm like, okay. But then he starts, and you're like, wow, absolutely amazing. And then you talk to Noble, and Noble was like CM Punk before CM Punk. That guy was straight edge, man. And but then I had dinner with him on campus at the CIA, and he's sitting there playing with my daughter the whole night and introducing her to wild mushroom risotto, and she's like 4 or 5 years old, and it just humanized him. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. You're a certified master chef. You're at the top of your game. You're one of 70 some in the world. And yes, we're talking about American certified, but still, we do it better than anybody, right? I'm just saying, bigger, better, stronger.
Yeah, I competed internationally to prove that to myself. So yeah, I would argue that I can hang with the best of them, no matter where they're from.
Damn straight. So to be able to have that approachability and have people understand that as a certified master chef, you're the top of your game. But just like anybody else, you want to share and give back and help others and share our craft. And that's part of the passion that drives you to be a master chef. Can you tell us what it took to actually get those little letters behind your name, and then how it made you feel?
All right, that's
he's got a process.
We have 40 minutes. You said.
Well, unless Ed starts talking with you, because he's way smarter than I am.
No, fuck that. That's a lie.
No, it's I'll tell you, it took everything I ever thought it would and more. And
so it's definitely a very arduous test. How
You know,
many days does it encompass?
it's an 8-day test. Okay, so if you want to talk specifics about the test is an 8-day test. And each day is focused on one particular area of cuisine, which is a subset of skill sets. So like you go through a nutritional day. And in nutritional, you got to write a nutritional analysis that gets approved by an RD. They give you a basket a couple of days before the test itself. You write your menu, you've got to cook your menu, and then your menu is evaluated. So you're evaluated in the kitchen, you're evaluated on flavor, you're evaluated in the tasting room, presentation, really at the level of mastery. And, if you think about, you talked about it a little bit, and I think the best way I could explain it is to describe the way you saw Fritz with bologna, the way you see Noble with bread or with anything baked,
Right.
is mastery. They know the material in and out. They know backwards and frontwards. There's no major concern for how the ingredients comes together. The concern is on the preparation, right? And that's that mastery piece. And in order to be successful, that's where you need to be with your craft, be it with some aspects of food, or be it with pastry, be it with bread, be it with garmage.
You put it so simply that it's like, damn, I could do that. But then you're
Absolutely.
talking about the nutrition class, and I'm like, wait a minute. I believe the 5 food groups are butter, bacon, caffeine, carbs, and bourbon. Maybe not.
You rattled those off mighty quick.
Well, speaking of bourbon, there's no better time for a little Jack and VooDoo. So I'm going to sit back and relax and enjoy you answering these questions about what it takes, dude. Because, you made it sound so simple, but an 8-day test, and we're starting with nutrition, I'm already tapping out, I'm already tapping out.
Inevitably, there's in the 8 days, you're not going to be able to rock every single one of them. You're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. There's going to be things you're better at than others, right?
Absolutely. That's life.
So really, the cost of coming to the exam is having a really high skill set in a couple of the areas, right? International cuisine. I'm sure we could talk international food. I'm sure we could talk global cuisine. I'm sure we could talk freestyle, right? Freestyle is about you and your food. Garmage. I happen to love garmage. I love cold food. I love pâtés, terrines, sausages. I think that checks off the butter, bacon, and pork kind of categories, right? So, but coming into it, the pastry section was a challenge for me a little bit, right? And so, no matter what, growth is always found in the comfort zone. So, one of the things that I do with my coaching, with my coaching clients early on is really identify your strengths and your weaknesses and figure out what we got to do to beat those out of you, because that's really the key. It's just getting uncomfortable, recognize where your weaknesses are, and then as much as the test is arduous and difficult, the biggest hurdle is you more often than not. The mind game is 95% of the whole thing altogether.
Absolutely. And when you're getting to that level, I think that's what separates the masters from everyone else, is being able to overcome that mental challenge to say that you can do that. But in that whole description, you said your challenges were the pastries. Why was that your mental block?
I grew up a savory cook. It's kind of a narrative that you grow up with. You get kind of put into a category, right? Like people make up words for you, or people make up hurdles for you, or they put you in these boxes, whether it's real or not. You get categorized. And I knew I could cook. I knew I could bake. I know how to make mean cookies. I can make nasty desserts. Like, I've been doing it for years. But internally, I had to overcome that hurdle of just being scared of getting started. Because again, like you get categorized. I talk about my defiance that was developed early on. I've had a lot of people say a lot of terrible things to me over time about the things I can't do, or the things I'll never be able to do, or the things I should be. And, fortunately, yeah, I grew up defiantly enough to be able to say, you know what? I really don't give a shit what you think. And
In the
I
voodoo world, we call that passing out fuck yous for free.
yeah, and I've definitely handed out many.
Well,
Um,
I think that CMC behind your name was like, dude, right there, man. I mean, but you're exactly right. And in the world of education, we see that as well. Students come in with these labels or put in compartments like you're saying, and the biggest thing we have to do is just get them to break through that. So I'm right on track with you, man. I'm sitting here going, dude, I'm picking up what you're setting down, man, and I love it.
well, you were talking. I loved the wrestling talk as we were getting into this, right?
Oh,
Because
dude, don't get me started.
well,
Yeah.
the nature boy's a little bit of a hero, like that's kind
just,
of my
just so you know, he lives here in Tampa now.
cool. That's pretty dope. But I would say, I've failed more times than most people have tried. I have fallen flat on my face. I worked myself to death while I was getting ready for that test so I'd be successful. And that way I could be at a level where I knew that I was going to be okay. I made a fool, not made a fool, but like I would cook in front of the people who made me the most concerned so that it wasn't even an issue anymore.
Dude, that's awesome. Guys, if you're just checking in, thanks for tuning in to the VooDoo Chef podcast. We're hanging out with certified master chef Gerald L. Ford, culinary mastery coach. You can read all the stuff across the bottom. We sum it up in the voodoo world. He is a CBA certified badass, and he's sharing his story with us. Thank you so much for coming in, my friend. So you would put yourself in front of your biggest critics, if you would, the people who you respected most, to have them, put you to the test. Who are those people? Who does that for you?
Well, I made sure that I went to the CIA because I heard that the CIA was the place to go when you wanted to go down that path. And I knew early on that I wanted to go the distance. I wanted to become a certified master chef.
Now, did you attend the Culinary Institute of America?
I did. I attended a local community college, Henry Ford College in Dearborn, Michigan. And I ended up getting my degree there, but then I was working at the Ritz-Carlton and the chef said, you should look at this if you're serious about this career and you want to take it to the next level, you should check this out.
And can I ask, how old were you at that time when you decided to make that turn?
I started at the Culinary Institute at 19. But I had the good fortune of having a vocational program in high school. So we had a VOTEC college, or a VOTEC high school, so I could go for 3 hours a day. And quite honestly, up until that point, I was a C&D student. And then, when I found my way into the kitchen, I was on fire. And I realized like, hey, okay, there's no reason why I can't have good grades because now I have a purpose behind it. Like I love this work I'm doing in the kitchen. So I may as well do okay in the rest because, well, now I want to go to this school. Now I want to go to this CIA maybe, or now I have a path. And I cared, because I had a purpose. I cared. And I needed that because otherwise, man, school was just not interesting overall. I knew that wasn't going to be my traditional path.
I knew
that.
So I took you away from the fact when you said CIA, I had to let everybody know where you graduated from. But you were saying when you were ready to take the test, you knew you had to take it at the culinary because.
Oh no, I knew I needed to go to the culinary because that was kind of where the CMCs were at. And that's where I met a lot of my mentors over time. So, I put myself in a position where I could go and hopefully apprentice for the exam. Like I didn't know, I thought I was going to take it in my 20s and you don't know what you don't know, right? Youthful exuberance and all. But I wanted to put myself in front of these people and I wanted to be around what I wanted to emulate. And that made sense to me at an early age. So, I sold all my stuff. I'd throw it in storage or whatever. I went off to the CIA and I managed to meet some great teachers who eventually took the test and I got to watch them take the test. And then, after the fact, 20 years later or 15 years later, when I was getting ready to take the test, those were my first phone calls, even though we've been talking over time. So, reaching out and saying, hey, chef, look, I think I'm about ready. So let's talk about this.
One thing I like to tell the students where we're at, and you're kind of like touching on that. I used to say all the time in high school, you are the friend you keep. And I would say that to students who are mixing with the wrong crowd. But it's also true the other way. You wanted to be these people, so you surrounded yourself by the people who were smarter than you, who you could learn from. But then you said you moved on and you eventually came back. When you went out and you left and you were working in industry, still with this, I'm going to be a CMC.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell my students, go take a job, learn as much as you can. When you felt you've learned as much as you can there, let's look at finding the next job at the next level to keep you growing. How did that work with you to when you left the culinary to a job, to whenever it was that you finally decided I'm ready to go?
Well, I call it my filter. It was my life filter for a long time. Just as a chinois strains out all the nonsense, right, from the sauce and gets you down to the clearest version of it. That was it. Like, is this job going to get me a step closer to the CMC or get me further from it? Is this opportunity going to get me closer or take me further from it? And sometimes I was right and sometimes I was wrong. But, when I was in my early 30s, I learned... I guess I learned the vocabulary to be able to explain what it was that I was doing. And at that point, it was about making my decision right. I wasn't worried and wasting my time of if becoming a CMC was the right or wrong decision. I was like, okay, this is what has to happen. So now I've got to make that decision right. I've got to do what I have to do because the only way out of this for me is to get through it. There's just no other way around it.
Dude, that's incredible. Big Eddie C, what are you thinking about, man? I see you contemplating, man.
No, I got all sorts of stuff running through my mind, like 8-day test. I could barely even do that fucking 7 hours of the Feely, man, for administration. I got home at like 3:30 in the afternoon and just went face fucking down like I'd gotten power bombed. So I can't imagine 8 days of like a 360 approach. I can't even wrap my head around like the necessary focus and drive and attention to detail. I mean, bravo, man. I mean, that's just a mic drop moment. I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I'm still overwhelmed by stupid shit in my life. I went the other day, I ran in one of our old students at Publix. And as soon as I see him, my first words, all of a sudden I blurt out totally out loud. I think on the spectrum side, in the middle of Publix, I go, holy shit! Because I saw a dozen eggs for jumbo eggs was $4.29. And he laughs. It's like, same old Carmack. But no, these are the things that go through my mind. But bravo, man, to have that kind of just, I am going to do this and learn as much as I can. Because, I mean, you realize bar exams aren't 8 fucking days, okay? I mean, like my niece took the longest one in the United States, I think, is like Texas, and it's 2 or 3 days. There's 1 or 2 that are all-encompassing law, and then there's a day of just Texas law. So the test you took is probably more stringent than that. So
for food.
Absolutely.
But that's, I would say that's that mental part though that stops more people than anything else, is people thinking, just being super intimidated by the test.
Self-doubt.
And yeah. And maybe, just making the test bigger than it is. And I get it, because it's there. It is a monster of a test, but at the same time, you said something that's funny. You said you had to wrap your head around the test, and your head is exactly the last thing you want in the test. You can't think your way through the test, right? At that point, it's habitual cooking, it's flow, it's who you are in the kitchen. You end up thinking your way through the first day or two, and then, the test just grinds you down to the point where you're just working. The test ends up being something like working a grill station on a Saturday night when you've got, 400 pieces of meat that have to come off cooked right on time, and you're not thinking through, you're not doing anything. It's a reaction. It's a, it's a process. It's a click and it's a whir, and your body and your muscle memory do the right things.
Just all that said, you're making it sound like, you're building yourself up and creating this. And I understand that. But all the educators in the room, just so you know, are throwing you mad props. Just because we understand the process of what it takes to get there, even though you're saying, I built myself up. We've got, educators saying ditto, comparing it to their ed leadership. But Don Hill doesn't compare, homie. Doesn't compare. Dude, you're a stud.
I'm reading.
You and I were talking about this earlier. Neither one of us can see that small. But, you're absolutely killing it. And one of our listeners is got a question that I want to make sure that she gets answered because I'll forget. She wants to know what you make for yourself.
Curry. I think my favorite thing I really like cooking kind of, I'm going to say, authentic, highly flavored dishes. So like, I really like curries of Thailand. I really like Indian curries. I really like food that I didn't grow up with. And I spent a lot of time learning how to cook, traditional European, very Spanish in a lot of ways, regional American. And so I love those cuisines of like the islands, or really heavily spiced, not spicy, but heavily spiced, super flavorful dishes. So,
did you cook dinner tonight at the house?
I did.
What did we eat?
We had pork rendang.
Come on, break that down.
So pork rendang is what's called a dry curry, and it's a Malaysian dish where you make a really tasty paste of garlic, ginger, a couple different chilies, cilantro, and then you fry that paste, right, in coconut fat. And then I used pork. Normally the dish is made with beef, but I had some pork shoulder that I wanted to use. So my pork shoulder went in with some onions, and then you cover it with coconut milk, and you kind of stew it, kind of braise it. But the goal is to reduce it to the point where it breaks. So that's where it's a dry curry. So it's not super saucy. It's actually a preservation method in Malaysia, because once it's cooked to a dry state, a lot of the liquid comes out of it, and then it's shelf stable. But super flavorful, spicy, just really super delicious. And that's funny. That's what I made for dinner. I had some kimchi in the fridge, and yeah.
Dude, that's amazing. I just want to come to your house and eat.
Cool. You should come by. If you're ever in Savannah.
Only an 8-hour drive. I'm on my way.
If you're ever in Savannah, you can eat. Swing by.
Oh, you're sitting here talking about all this yummy goodness, and I make hamburgers, homie.
That's cool, man. I make hamburgers too. I roast a mean pork shoulder.
You're a stud. So I told you I was going to ask you this. You got to have a guilty pleasure. You got to have a guilty pleasure. What's your fast food guilty pleasure?
After I got divorced, I did away with feeling guilt. But I do very much so enjoy. Do you remember KFC used to have the Double Down?
Oh my God! I introduced Jackie Pressinger to the Double Down.
Yeah, the Double Down. So that was the thing, man. Fried chicken with cheese and goodness inside.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's if you're gonna do it.
Good, and they took it off the menu.
Of course they did, because it made people feel guilty. Growing up was always White Castle. Getting like a 40 pack and just seeing how many of those you could crush after a night of drinking or something 40. Like that.
Oh shit.
Dude, that's all. How would you, And we've totally just gone totally away from the seriousness of this, and not to belittle it.
That's cool.
Tell me how you would like if you were to recreate a White Castle for the Master Chef exam. What would that look like, dude?
Okay, just on the fly.
And he had I was going to ask him this.
I would want to do like a steamed pork bun for the bun, like a bao style bun. Right. Mm-hmm. And then the meat would have to be some kind of a sausage, or it's funny. I would even say something like a big old fried thick slice of Spam with it's just some nice jalapeno jack cheese or something like that, and I like crunchy, so something like spicy jalapeno potato chip or something like that on there too.
Right on the sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I think Bobby Flay would say crunchified, which hurts my soul, but
But yet you still quoted it.
Yeah.
You still quoted it.
Oh, I don't want to claim that. I don't want to claim that. I
totally feel y'all on that. Erik knows my wife. And if we're watching any cooking show and somebody describes a food as sexy, the shit that comes out of her mouth, that fucking diatribe would put Linda Blair and The Exorcist to shame. It bothers her so fucking bad.
We might have to bring her on one day and just poke the bear, dude.
Oh, you have no idea. She just can't, she can't stand it. She has her people she likes and doesn't like, and we're pretty much heretics in this house because we don't like onions. It's overwhelming to our palate. So one of her favorite guys is Scott Koenig because he's not an onion guy. He definitely doesn't want to find a big ass raw slice of purple, and I'm not calling it red because it ain't fucking red, on anything. It's just like it's gonna overwhelm the dish. So
is this what you expected today, Mr. Ford?
It's right on line with what I was thinking, what I was hoping for at least. It's good, man.
All right. So we're gonna play a different twist here, and it all depends on if I can make the cameras work because I don't know. I'm gonna play a video. I don't know if it makes noise or not.
Oh God!
But let's see how you would describe this dish that I made.
You ready? Let's make this yummy.
Money shot?
Yeah, that is pornographic and shit.
Did you say money shot?
Of course I said money shot. Money shot.
Oh, man. IFA called me up and said, dude, what are you trying to do? Die? And I'm like, I thought you knew me. Oh, IFA is my brother, man. Oh, dude, yours was better, though, man. That was fucking classic.
Wow.
I just saw that in the video cache, and I'm like, all right, what the fuck? Let's do it. Oh, man. All right, so we'll just regather here if we can at all possible. Oh, my God, Big Eddie, I might love you. Purple onion. And
oh, yeah. I mean, everybody knows their colors of the spectrum. That thing ain't fucking red. Stop it, I mean, this
not wrong.
Is red. This is red, okay? That damn onion is as purple as Prince's boots. So they need to quit fucking lying. There needs to be at least a little bit of truth in advertising. It's a problem in this world, man.
Dude, it's America. That doesn't happen. We do what the fuck we want.
That's right. We eat the double down and don't give a shit about our arteries.
Damn straight. Or guilt.
No.
Or guilt. And just so you know, you said after your divorce, you no longer feel guilt. Our good friend and education guru, Liz Ann Ippolito, says amen. All right. So let's get back on track here. Let's talk about, you did your time. You busted your ass in industry. You take your CMC. You're the youngest CMC, not the youngest to ever earn it. Okay. But you're the youngest current CMC. Nowadays, You have a company, Legit Concepts,
Correct.
and you're helping other people achieve what you have done. Is that a true statement?
That's a true statement. I'm a mastery coach. So I work on culinary mastery, craft mastery. I work on some life coaching, consulting, and I train. So I work with culinary teams. I work one-on-one with chefs. I work with culinary operations that want to build a legacy, design the systems and the programs that big companies tend to have that the individual restaurant doesn't. So I help them implement those so that way they can operate, have some lifestyle. For me, it's all about purpose, and you got to work with purpose. So if I can,
someone quoted, we have a lot of guest chefs come in and talk to the students. One of the chefs came in and said there's two types of restaurant. There's a talent-driven restaurant and a system-driven restaurant. Talent-driven is driven by the talent of the chef and his ability to perform. The system, obviously, by the systems you have in place. Can you comment on that? And if you think
I'm the
one
bridge
better than the other, can you have both?
I'm the bridge. I work with talent-driven chefs and help them get systems so that the team can work behind them. Dude, that's the challenge. That's the hurdle, right?
It is. And as you were describing what you did, that's what I thought the direction you were saying. And that's a hard thing to do because you take someone like yourself whose talent is just phenomenal and they're putting it on a plate every day, but that means you're in the restaurant every day.
Well, see, I had this, challenging realization. It was just before I was getting ready to go and take the CMC test. And the reality was it didn't matter how good I was. It was my team who was doing the work, right? Like I can do anything with food, but I'm only as strong as my team. And if I'm not bringing my team up to speed, if I'm not communicating with my team, if I'm not giving my team what they need, then there's no chance in hell that they're ever going to get it done. And that's going to reflect poorly on everybody. And that's, that's kind of like where the mastery of cooking evolves into the mastery of the next thing, right? For every level, there's a new devil. And, I've done cool stuff, but now I'm back at square one again because I've just leveled up and now I want to start climbing again, right? And so for me now it's like, okay, how do I get my team to get to the level where they can be me? How do I get others to be at the level to where they're not killing themselves, they're not ruining their relationships, they're cooking the food that they want to do, they're showing up in their profession the way that they need to, but people can work for them. People can get the stuff done. And those are the things that I'm now, that concern me. That's what my company handles.
So not to compare what you do to...
There's always a comparison.
Well, to what we see on TV. But you're talking about coaching these people. And I was going to ask how many people just won't let go. Like you see, again, TV's TV, guys. Don't confuse TV with reality. But you see Robert Irvine in the restaurant and he's in the owner's grill going, you can't do that. It's my restaurant. How often do you run into that battle? People who are hiring you, they're hiring you for a purpose. Do you ever run into anybody who is just like, yeah, fuck it, I ain't doing it?
Well, the vetting is important. I think that the vetting is the first most important part. I have to know if somebody's coachable ahead of time, or if they're willing to make a change, or if they need to make a change, or if they have any interest or any leverage, any mobility to be able to accept it. And if they don't on the surface, then I can even poke a little deeper and see if maybe we can find it. But that's why I like working with chefs. I work directly with chefs instead of being hired by the general manager, which sometimes happens, but instead of being hired by somebody who's outside of the kitchen to help them influence the chef, my goal is to work with the chef to get the chef to tell me what he needs and help him understand that his survivability is dependent on his mobility. Because in a lot of ways, that's the truth.
Now, you said the vetting, is it a simple interview?
I wouldn't say it's so simple. I mean, well, I try and get in the nooks and crannies and see what's really there, because you can tell me anything, but I want to know the real story. And even then, nobody's ever always right. But,
Correct.
for bigger projects, I want to be more involved, have more conversation, go see the operation, see what's really happening because, well, the proof is in the pudding.
And you work with small and large?
I work primarily with private country clubs right now because, well, they tend to have the disposable income that they want to spend on developing and improving a culinary program and working my way into restaurants.
Dude, that's very cool. And very much needed. Especially some of these, and just from my standpoint, some of these restaurants that grow too quickly, that they end up growing themselves out of business
Mm-hmm.
because they can't handle the development and the growth so fast. I mean, we see that happen. Just here, I can think of a couple restaurants that popped up and they were so successful. Let's open another one, open another one, open another one, and they lose track of what got them started, and they can't control it. And they need people like you to come in and help them solidify those operations.
And, I don't want to make it seem as though I come in and everything's, sweet and nice and super friendly. I'm there to make people uncomfortable. The majority of the problem is usually the fact that the chef feels at home at the stove doing the work that he's always done or she's always done. And the challenge is getting them to understand that if you're growing a restaurant group, your job is no longer at the stove. You have to build the systems to allow the people behind you to do the work the way you do it. Otherwise, you're never going to be successful. You have no foundation to build on. And then it's the same thing. You'll level up again and you have to evolve. It's no different than when a cook becomes a junior sous and a junior sous becomes a sous chef. You have to evolve your skill set. You have to move beyond the stove because the cooking is now a percentage. And every time it gets smaller, every step you take up the ladder.
We got Jen checking in saying his last statement about getting his team up to speed is so applicable to education. There's no real coaching. And, you got to be able to coach your team up to that level. And, again, we got a lot of educators checking in, man, because, they love what we do because we're educators. But, dude, you're at such a level that it, is definitely a skill set and an education like anything else. The higher you go, you're definitely a lifelong learner and you're continuing to push at the mastery level, no pun intended. Just this rock star status, man. I am absolutely loving this. And I know your time is like super, super valuable. We love you hanging out, VooDoo Chef Podcast. We cannot
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Oh, hey, we're here every Tuesday. Try the veal. I cannot mention you
braise
have
or chop.
Sure, whatever's going to get you back.
I apologize for interrupting, Chef.
No, dude, you're all good, man. I'm trying to pimp you out. we can't we're moving fast here. I want to make sure everybody knows about your advanced culinary competition primer that you're getting ready to host May 1, 2, and 3, and it's scrolling across the bottom. And just so you know, all the Voodies out there, this is a free event. You do have to register, hit the link tree. But Chef, please tell us what this is.
So what I keep finding in my travels is that there's people who want to get into competing and people who've maybe had some bad experience with culinary competition. So what I've decided to do is get together with some professional chefs and build this primer. It's an introduction, and in some ways it's an advanced introduction to culinary competitions and culinary preparation. And that's why I'm calling it a primer. So the whole event is live streamed for free, and then I'm charging if you want to be able to have unlimited lifetime access to a replay. It costs me money, so I need to charge. And then I've got a workbook and another program in there too. But the live stream's free and available to everybody. And after you watch it, if you're like, wow, I really want to have this available, then you can click and you have lifetime access to the material. And the entire point is you could literally spend the next 5 years of your life figuring things out, but you don't have to. So if you come and you spend, 9 hours with us roughly over 3 days, I've got some really amazing guest chefs coming. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to take a ton away that can set you up for a very successful first time or a very successful next time in competition.
And one of the pieces you have out there is exactly what you said. No more figuring it out on your own. Chefs waste more time and money figuring it out on their own, and you say, I know, I've been there, I've done that. And it's a true statement. And why not learn from the people who have gone through it before? Why not get them and utilize their experiences? And what's super cool is you're bringing all these people together in one spot. They don't have to bebop around and search them out like you did. They don't have to find all the different chinois. You're putting it in one little home package right there. It's like aisle 5. All the chinois are right there. And you're bringing them in, and you're delivering it for free, dude. This is like absolutely phenomenal. All they have to do is log onto your link tree and register. And you said it's 3 days, May 1, 2, and 3, 1 to 3:30 every day, a different chef every day, new topics every day, I would assume.
Yep. We're talking about the 4 P's of competition. So the prospecting, kind of figuring things out ahead of time, the planning, the process, and then the performance aspect. So
which is the hardest thing?
Honestly, I think the first 2, because everything else is built on them.
See,
I'm a foundations guy. I firmly believe that everything requires a firm foundation.
Most important class in culinary school for you?
Fundamentals.
The beginning. Favorite culinary class?
Wow. Garmager.
What was your instructor's name? Was that evil? Was that evil of me?
I don't know if it's evil or not, but I can't remember his name.
Doesn't matter. You're a certified.
I can see his face.
You learned it and surpassed it.
Yeah. But no, it was I loved my time at school. And that's one thing that really I would love to talk about. And one of the things that I bring up in a lot of conversation is, people ask me about the relevance of, paying for education. And to me, all I would say is just vet the opportunity on the other side of your education. For me, I was okay with spending the money to go to culinary school. The CIA wasn't cheap, and it's not getting any less expensive. But I knew that on the other side, I wanted the 6-figure club chef jobs. I wanted the 6-figure hotel chef jobs. Those are what I wanted. And so I knew that there was an opportunity to make that money back. And in our trade, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And in our trade, if that's not necessarily the path if you don't know that you're ready for the 6-figure chef jobs, you can get an amazing apprenticeship, amazing exposure, get your culinary education paid for, which is what you're talking about, and get educated, get real life, real world experience, and get paid for it. And you don't have to go into $60, $70, $80, $100,000 worth of debt. You can go right into it without debt and have some education and have real world applicable skills.
So we're 40 some years old now, 42. What year did you graduate the culinary?
Associates in 2001, and then I went and worked in France, and I became a TA for 6 months, and then I went back and finished my bachelor's in 2003.
That's incredible, man. And here we are, 2022, 19 years later. You're a fucking certified master chef, dude. Nothing but mad props. And I'm so excited for all the educators out there. Chef and I have been talking. We started the conversation at the ACF conference where he presented, and I was lucky enough to attend. We're continuing the conversation before we got on air. We're going to continue it again. He is making his way to Tampa. where he is going to come to Irwin Tech College, and we're going to bring in all the high school culinary students, all the instructors, and put on a big show. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes looking out. It's going to be a great day. Chef, I know you're sitting there going, thank God, it's sounding like it's wrapping up, but
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm on parole.
Without the final 10 questions. Liz Ann's clapping. Don Hill did have a question. Have you ever walked in, and I'm assuming you mean one of the restaurants you were vetting, have you ever walked into a restaurant incognito?
I try to. I try and be low key whenever I go out to dine. I don't like to. I don't like unnecessary attention when I go to dine.
Favorite place to dine?
Wow, that's tough.
Where's the last place you and the wife went out to eat?
Actually, we were down in Orlando, and we went to a restaurant called Maya.
And how was it?
It was very good. Modern Mexican. It was very good.
What's the last?
Or, I'm
chain
sorry,
restaurant?
Reyes.
Reyes? What's the last chain you went to? He's gonna say Piccadilly when I was 12.
No. I definitely eat at chains, but I do a lot more cooking at home than anything. I honestly can't think of one. Think of the last one.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Chef, I told you we were going to twist things up, but I've had so fun. I want to ask you the stupid questions rather than the serious questions. So we asked 10 questions of all our guests just to help us get a little better understanding. And so, it used to be 5. We got bored, so we added 5 more. 10 questions. It might help us get a little better insight to you, kind of like, that Inside the Actor Studio thing, not that we stole it. All right, so here we go. What's your favorite television show as a child?
Looney Tunes.
Hot damn, one of the best shows ever.
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite cartoon? Which one of the Looney Tunes?
My nickname was the Taz growing up.
That's good, man. All right, here we go. Question number 2. What's your favorite movie?
Let's go. The one that's popping into my head is V for Vendetta.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I'm going to have to watch that. All right. Popcorn or candy?
Popcorn. And candy.
Ed, I'm afraid to ask because we can't ban him no matter what he says.
Of course not.
We might have to break our own rules here.
Yeah, for him, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody actually got this wrong, even though there's no real wrong answer. There's actually a wrong answer for this one. Coke or
Neither.
Okay,
I don't drink soda.
Neither do I.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, Angelina comes out and goes, "It's Mr. Pibb." And I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Paul Compton with a late check-in. What's going on, Paul? Great to see you, my friend.
If I am going to have a soda, it's going to be a Verner's.
Oh, I do like that Verner's.
Spicy
Nice
ginger ale,
ale.
man.
Yeah, ginger ale and cream soda had a baby. Shit, yeah. I love it.
All right, here's one of my personal favorites where this is going to kind of be like Twilight. Are you on Team Edward or Team whatever the fuck the other guy's name was? You're either going to be on Team VooDoo or Team Big Eddie C. Bourbon or beer? And by bourbon we mean Tennessee whiskey.
Bourbon.
Hell yeah. Sorry, Ed.
Well, I don't hate on anybody that likes bourbon. Almost every Saturday, if I'm watching boxing, I have a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, man.
I was going to say, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have a barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go. Don Hill's throwing up some Michigan love for your Verner's.
It's where I grew up. It's where I grew up, Don.
All right, to what temperature do you cook your steak?
Depending on the cut, between 128 and 133.
Wow.
I'm laughing at you but I did 129-degree sirloin both Saturday and Sunday for some private caterings. So I get you, man. Much love, much love. Patrick Arts checking in with bourbon or beer is a tough question. Ain't nothing tough about it. Be careful, buddy. You might lose a job. Much love, Pat. You know that. Here we go, Chef. What's your favorite cuss word?
Oh, the F-bomb by far. Like, not even close.
Not even close. How old were you when you first got your first restaurant job?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me when the first time I said the F word. My dad swears I was 2. But my first restaurant job, I was 14 washing dishes.
Oh, wow.
All right, here we go. What's your favorite song?
Hail the Apocalypse.
Big Eddie C. Who sings that?
Avatar.
Oh, okay. You get the fuck out of here. I don't know a lot of Avatar, but I did go upstairs one day and learn Let It Burn. So I was happy, you know.
What the fuck is Avatar? Is that a band for real?
Uh-huh.
What's that?
That's a band?
Avatar? Yep, from Sweden. Yep.
They're not an 80s hair metal band?
No, the best
That
I can
explains
tell you, the singer sounds somewhere between Marilyn Manson and I don't know what. If you listen to him, you dig him. So.
Well, you know, it's not an 80s hair metal band, so I don't feel bad for not knowing it.
I like metal.
Expand your horizons, you know. But yeah,
dude, I swear to God, I decided that I was gonna start listening to some new music. We went to see Slash.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Every time I say that, I end up like, I end up going back into like shit that I missed in the 70s. I mean, you know, I haven't found as much to like of today's stuff as I have. It's like, oh, I fucking missed out on some of these guys from the 70s, like these Guitar Hero guys like Frank Marino and Rory Gallagher, you know. I mean, Rory Gallagher was the guy that got name dropped by Jimi Hendrix when he was on, I think, Dick Cavett or one of those shows. They said, what's it like to be the best guitar player in the world? He said, I don't know. You have to ask Rory Gallagher. So, you know,
Well, you
guy
went
died young. So,
you know, I'll be happy to let you know that I was listening to both Conway Twitty and Mel Tillis today. Beat that. All right, here we go. Only 2 left here, Chef. Roller coaster or Ferris wheel?
Roller coaster.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, here's the tough one. Chef, what would be your death row meal? Your final meal. You're on death row. You get to pick it. What is it?
It's going to be... I feel the Jeopardy music in the background. No, it's going to be a grilled ribeye, medium rare, with tons of garlic, marinated mushrooms, fried potatoes.
Now the real guy's coming out.
And a big old chunk of grilled rustic bread, soaking up all that fat and blood.
Hell yeah. That's the man right there, guys. Nothing unapproachable about this gentleman. Gerald Ford, certified master chef. Check him out. Legitconcepts.com. Log on to his link tree, scrolling across the screen right now. Sign up for that class, that competition primer. Chef, I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule for hanging out with some fools like us, man. Much love, dude.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you, Big Eddie.
Likewise, man. I still shit running through my mind, and I ain't got time for it tonight, man.
Dude, we'll hit it on the next time because you're coming back, Chef, whether you want to or not.
Perfect.
Don't forget, guys, tune in tomorrow night, VooDoo Underground. We're probably going to start the cameras at 4, rolling some video of me cooking something, who knows what. We know it's going to have the 5 food groups: butter, bacon, caffeine, carbs, and bourbon. Well, I'll be drinking the bourbon. And then right after that, we're going straight to VooDoo Underground. 4 teams competing live for that $2,000 scholarship. Make sure you tune in. Until next time, Chef, you're a rock star. Big Eddie C. I'll catch you next week.
Later, Chef.
Be good, booties.